Hey guys, I'm back again, working on more Christmas stuff, Christmas in August. So, the last video I did the Snowman cover, so I thought I'd give you a little update on this. So, I went back and straightened up the hat and kind of fixed him, and I did the stitching. I added some ink. I just added some of this, some Tim Holtz vintage. You know, I've used this for so long, look, you can't even tell what the color is anymore, but I believe it's the Vintage Photos Distress ink. And I just keep buying the re-inker stuff. I've been using that for a really long time. And I added fabric on the inside, a piece of fabric here, and some paper, and then stitched around. I kind of missed here on the paper, so I stitched around twice on that. On the front, I stitched around here, and then I stitched around the back. And I haven't pulled pages for this one yet. I wanted to finish the cover and kind of show you how the cover is going to look, you know, now that it's done. And then I may add pockets. I haven't decided yet in there. Or I may just add a big, you know, couple of envelopes in the journal instead of putting pockets on it. I haven't decided. But he's finished. And then I think I showed you this one in the last one, and this one is finished. I did go back and stitch around him. The only thing left to do on these two, of course, is to put the pages in and then bind it and seal it. Okay, so those two are done. And then I got my inspiration back. So for this video, I'm going to show you how I did this little guy. So, you know, I just got inspired. I went looking through my images, and I've been, as I've been organizing this year, I've tried to pull book pages that were Christmassy or winter scenes and things like that. So I'll show you several other things that I have to choose from that I pulled, and I just got inspired. This was that Pop-Tart box that I told you. You know, you can make a journal out of just about anything, okay? So all I did was I painted, you know, I painted it, I gessoed, I used this Oxford blue satin paint, which I love this color. I've actually started working on a journal for my grandson who's expected to be here late November, early December. And I've got a cover started with this color, and I just love that color, and it went really well with this. And then on the inside, I did the same thing with the tissue paper. I gessoed, and then I just glued this tissue paper. I put this red gingham fabric on the inside, and then I used this other plaid, which is almost like a light flannel that was gifted to me. I thought I had some more of it, but I can't find it, so I'm gonna have to go rummaging back through my my fabrics, but I really like that. I just like the way that looked. And then I took this image and I backed it on some lightweight chipboard, probably another one of the boxes that I had, like a cake box or something, and stitched around it, and just inked up the edges. The coloring in the page was already that nice vintage coloring, and then add the ink around the edges. And then I used E6000 glue to glue that down to the cover. And then I had some little chipboard stars that I just added, and I also used the E6000, so they're not going anywhere, okay? And then I've already pulled papers and put signatures together for this one, and I'm gonna try to do that in another video. It's hard for me to sort of show you how I do that. I mean, I pretty much just get, you know, I just pull my papers out, and I found this really cool. This was a paper pad I found at Hobby Lobby this weekend because I was kind of running low on my Christmas paper, and I just love I love the texture. It's a Paper Studio paper pad, and there were so many different designs in it. So you could take one piece of there were 3 of the same designs, okay, 3 papers of the same design. So I cut I cut some of them down for this book, and then I cut this down to size for this book, and then I had a lot of strips left over, and I still have 2 pages, you know, 2 pieces of paper in each design left. So that one paper pad's going to go a long way. But so I cut these down to where's my ruler? Of course I didn't grab that. I took the 12 by 12 sheets and cut them down to, of course, 12 by 5. Because this is like, this cover is like, well, this cover is actually 5 by 7, I think it is. No, it's like 5 by 6 1/4. Okay, so it's great. It's a great size for 4 by 6 photos. And I don't know, I really like this mini. I like the chunky, I like sort of the flex of this, that I can add a lot to this. I may use this one as my December journal this year, because I just think I can get a lot in here. I may just do a different format. But I wanted to show you, so you can take, you know, you can get 2 books out of this, you know, 1 piece of each of those papers, and then add other things to it, because I've added other things to it. And I'll show you that later. But what I wanted to show you today was the cover. So I didn't have another Pop-Tart box. So what I did was I took some of my other boxes and cut them down. And where'd my ruler just go? Okay. So I cut 2 pieces that were, 5 by 6. So this is 5 by 6, this is 5 by 6, and then this is 3 by 6. I gave myself a 3-inch spine, okay? So this one I took the 2 pieces and I taped them together with masking tape. I mean, the 3 pieces, okay? Leave yourself a little bit of space in the middle, about a 1/4 inch space, so that you have the good flex. And then just gesso it, okay? So that's all I did. And you can see I used pieces of a Ritz cracker box, okay? Just cut it down. I've got so many boxes. And then for this one, so it's the same size. So I took a piece of paper on this side, okay? This one I painted. This one I painted the whole thing blue, and then I added the fabric to the spine, and then the tissue paper inside, and the fabric inside, and then I stitched around it, then I added the image. So I just wanted to show you my process for this one. So here's the inside. This is gonna be the outside cover. So I gessoed everything, put my pieces together, gessoed everything. I added this piece of scrapbook paper on this side, and I painted this blue on this side. So what I'm gonna do now, and then this is my little image, okay? So I cut this image out of a piece of scrapbook paper that was gifted to me, and I believe this was in a swap. And I have 2 more pieces of this paper left, and I'll show you some of that. And I cut there was a bunch of images on the 1 piece of paper that I cut out. So I cut this little guy and girl sledding, and then I cut the dog out separate. And I just backed them on another little piece of cardstock that I had that was like red polka dots. And then glued it on there, stitched around it, you know, kind of fussy cut it out, stitched around it. And I'm gonna put this on this cover, and I'm gonna add some other little chipboard pieces to it. Now, so while I was working on this, I thought, well, let me just do a video and show some people my sort of my thought process without, you know, here we go. Got a little bit of a glare here. Once again, let's see if I can get rid of that. There we go. So now what I'm gonna do, so I've cut this gingham. I had some small pieces of this that were already small enough for me to use here. So I thought I would just use these on this one. And then on the inside, I've already picked this paper. I'm gonna use this on the inside. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. Show you how I do that. I know a lot of you know how to do all this already. So I use this PVA glue. You can use fabric tack, you know, whatever you want to use. I'm just going to put a nice healthy portion of that. And I'm going to use my finger. A lot of times just using your fingers works better, spreading this glue out. Just depends on what you're doing. I don't want it real thick because I don't want it to seep through my fabric. So I'm going to spread that out. And I'm going to wipe my hand off with a washcloth I have sitting over next to me. And I've already cut this to the right size, and then I'm going to glue this down. And I'm totally messing up my cutting mat here because I've been painting on it, but it's okay. I got tired of worrying about it every time I did something, so I don't quite, I'm gonna stitch this so I'm not worried about it being perfect there. So now I'm gonna, this up. All right, what you don't wanna do is what I just did. Keep it flat until it dries, but I'm gonna flip this over. And now I wanna put this piece of paper here. And I want to put this piece of paper over here. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to use this glue. I could use my score tape. Sometimes I use both. I'm going to stitch this around the edges. And I don't want it to buckle a whole lot. I'm going to try to get a good, however you normally glue your stuff. And you can put fabric in here, do fabric across the whole thing, just whatever you want to do. Do the tissue paper like I did on the other one. Just try to get it even. And I did already have my papers cut down to make it easier to show you how I do this. And using this glue or using a wet glue tends to make these covers more sort of flexible when they dry. I hope that makes sense. It adds another layer of that feel to it. Which I really like. I like the texture you end up with, or the feel of it that you end up with in the end. So then let's go to this edge. Plus you have some leeway when you put your paper down to get it on there straight. If you use the double-sided tape, boy, once you put that down, you better be in the right spot because it's stuck. So yeah. So I'm just taking my bone folder and going over this and pushing any excess glue out. What's that too? This is a nice quality paper. That Paper Studio. It has a nice, I don't know how to explain the texture, but it has a nice texture to it. It's almost a softer feel than a regular cardstock. Like it's thick, but it's not real thick. And then you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but it is textured, like the back side. It's a textured cardstock. It's just a nice feeling paper. If you've ever bought any Paper Studio paper, you'll know what I mean. There's like a flat kind of cardstock, that doesn't have much, that's thick, super thick. But it doesn't, I don't know, this doesn't, it doesn't crack when you fold it. Yeah, I hope I'm making sense. Anyway, So those are down. So now I'm going to take my other piece that I've already cut. And I'm going to try to line it up with where I put the top piece. And if you'll notice, there's probably a little bit more on the back than there is on the front, but I was doing that where I want to put this. I didn't want this overlapping a lot over that. I have a hard time explaining how my brain works, y'all. I hope y'all, I'm sure y'all get it. I'm sure y'all understand what I'm saying. Sometimes what I have in my head, doesn't always come out the right way out of my mouth. I posted that little mini on Instagram and a lot of people really liked it, so I thought I would show. I thought, well, shoot, maybe I'll make a couple more. It was super fun and different, something I hadn't done, and I hadn't done a little mini album in a while. I used to do minis quite a bit when I first started doing this kind of stuff, and I haven't done any. Well, I did the little snowman, the little painted snowman mini ones, you know, a year or so, 2 years ago, but not like this. They were different. Okay, so now I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna let that dry real good, and then I'm gonna stitch. I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna stitch around the whole thing, okay, and then I'm gonna glue this on here. Meanwhile, I have some other chipboard pieces, so I'm going to show you that. I have stuff strewed everywhere right now. So I have these two that I purchased. I think I got this one last year. And I don't remember. I think they're both the same paper line, but I can't remember. I cannot for the life of me remember. Anyway, so I'm trying to use these up, and I like using these on cards and on tabs and like on the front of the books and stuff. Like last year, I used some chipboard pieces from here on my December daily. So I was thinking, you know, I had these little stars here, so I know I've got this little star right here. So I'm thinking maybe adding this star up here somewhere. Can you see what I'm doing? Let's see. And then I've got some other there's some little gold ones, which are harder to pop out. There's some little gold ones here. So I like to kind of do this in threes. So let's say I put, you know, that there. I could put a star there and just kind of cover up that snowflake. And then maybe another one. I'm having a hard time getting these things out. I also got these, so I could use one down here. I've got a little one in here. I'm having a hard time fighting him out of here, but these are really cute. These chipboard pieces are really cute to make cards with, because you can just take you can just take you a base. You know, you can just take you a base. Either a circle or, you know, a square piece of cardstock and put this joy on here and then like run a stitch through it or something and put it on the base of a card, and you got a Christmas card. You know, just really easy way to make some simple things out of it. Same thing with the little car like down here. You know, anyway, I'm fighting with this star right here, trying to get this little star out. And I don't have to cut it out. I can see that. Let's see. I don't think there's any left. I think I used all the ones on here. I used all the birds. I love the birds on this other one. But there's also this gold. So there's this little gold snowflake. I could do a little gold snowflake over here in the middle of that snowflake, just to kind of give it some more interest and dimension. And we'll see when I get through stitching it together what works. And then, so I could take one of these other little things, is like it says snow day. I could put snow day down there, or I could use one of my, I could put, actually this makes more sense. I could put December. I think I might do that. That'd be really cute there. I could put December down there. And then I've got a cover. You know, my cover's done. I just have to glue all that on there. So I gotta let it dry, and then I'll stitch all around it and probably put, like I have that there, and put the December there. And that'd be really cute. So when I'm going through my stuff, like I said, trying to figure out what I'm gonna use, I pulled out, I'm also gonna let you know that I'm gonna use this. So if you saw my December daily last year, and I'm kind of close, let me back up a little bit. Hold on, I'm gonna make you sick. So if you saw my December daily last year, I used a cookbook, okay, like this, and it was really tattered, and I had to do a lot of repair work to it, but then I collaged over it. So I'm gonna do a cover as well. I pulled out all my stuff earlier. I got my scrap box out and pulled out all these things that I'm gonna use or potentially use for collage in there. So there's, you know, there's some vintage ledger in here. There's some tea-dyed papers. There's some pieces from an almanac. There's a couple of old receipts or invoices, and then some of my paper that I used to wrap, stuff. I like this paper. It's so thin. It would be cool to use in collage. And then more ledger, some sewing paper, some tissue, you know, some Christmas tissue. And I don't know what will end up on here, but I just got a bunch of choices. And I pulled all that out. And then I'm pretty sure I went through all my images. So this is kind of what I do. This came from a, Chastity sent me this, and it was a kitten. It's a Merry Christmas kitten, or Carrie's Kittens or something. It was a really cool vintage, big book, like a pop-up book. And I've used some of the pages already. I've pulled some of the pages to use in some of the bigger journals I'm working on. So I'm really thinking that this is going to be my image on this book, okay? That's going to be my main focal point. But I do have these other ones. So these came from, Corrine Malvern's Mother Goose. I made a journal out of the cover, but these images were in there. So you got the little snow, all the little kids playing in the snow. And then this is from the large piece of scrapbook paper that was sent to me that I cut out. So that would be cool. And then this little guy right here that came from, it might have been that same Corrine Melvern's book, but I thought he would be really cute. But I think the one that's gonna win out on this book is this image right here. And I'm gonna collage on here. If you want me to do a video of me doing that, let me know, because that's gonna be kind of a long video, because it takes me a while to do that. I mean, I can try to sort of start piecing it together, or kind of get an idea and get my pieces sort of torn and be sort of prepped, or you can watch me do the whole process. So just let me know if y'all are interested in that. And if you are, I'll do that. If you're not, I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna, you know, I don't know that I'll do it on video, because that's a little more challenging. But I am gonna do a cover with that. And right now that's where my mind's at. But this is kind of what I do. I kind of get my idea in my head, and I think I've got my mojo going again, and I'll start with the cover, you know, and like the Snowman cover. I've just got to pull pages for him now, and then this guy I've pulled pages for, and then I've got a couple other little golden books that I'm gonna do, and that I'm gonna show you how I take my golden books apart and how I put the spine in. I think I've already done a video a while back on kind of the basics of how I do that, but I'll do that. And then what I do is I go through all my pages, like all my papers, and I just make stacks of like this book, this book, this book, this book. And then when I decide on my cover, well, I usually have my cover in mind. And then I just make stacks of all the different varieties of papers that I've got. And I kind of put them all together, and then I'll go through and cut down my papers of what I'm going to use. Then I'll sort of try to figure out what I'm going to put with what I'm going to sew. And then I kind of do this, and I go back and I put the signatures together. And then I'll go to my sewing machine and figure out what I'm going to sew before I bind my journal. And then once I do this, and I'm bad about forgetting this, don't forget, like if you want to put a charm on here, before you bind your journal, before you bind your pages in, put your eyelet on there. Because it's a whole lot easier to measure it and get it in the center and get that in there right before you put your pages in. Because I have had to do it the other way too, and it's a lot more challenging. It can be done, it's just more challenging. But yeah, so I just thought I'd show you guys what I was up to today, and let you know kind of where I'm at right now, and let me know, you know, if you want to, what else you want to see. I've also made some really cool paper clips. I was inspired by Paper Outpost. She's got a really cool video up right now. Go check her out. It's, you know, you can alter paper clips in so many different ways, but she does some really cool ones, and I did some this weekend. I'll show you those in another video, but go check out her video on her her recent altered paperclip video with beads and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I did some of those this weekend. I'll be back. I think I might come back the next video maybe and show you my golden book process, because I've already got some covers prepped and pages prepped, if y'all want to see that. And I'm going to keep working on Christmas. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you found some inspiration in this, and let me know if you did, and if you decide to make something like this, a little mini, let me know. I'd love to see it. Okay, and I hope everybody's doing well. Love you guys. Bye.